Welcome to the family, part 2 with
Tevin Pittman.
Alex Barnard Rasmussen.
Catherine Brandt.
Steve Brown.
his mic should be on, but it's not.
It is on.
Try it again.
Is it?
Stephen Brown.
There it is.
Go.
Stephen Brown.
Andy Barnard.
And Cassie Schrader.
And we'll be right back with Stephen Brown, Nothing But Hemp, a local shop. Nothing But Hemp. Well, you get all kinds of nothingbutHemp.net, excuse me, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And we're going to talk about locations and everything with Stephen Brown right after this with the family.
Where's the manager?
Walzer Automotive presents Car Selling Secrets. Join me, Tom Barnard, and Doug Sprinthal as we talk cars, how to buy them, how to lease them, how to make the most of your money, and much more.
What's it going to take to earn your business right now?
Tune in every Thursday from 2 to 3 Central or download it on the Tom Barnard podcast page.
I don't know. I think I'm going to have to think about it.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant, what's the latest?
Well, basically, we're trying to represent people who have been hurt, then talk to them before they talk to an adjuster. One of the key points is to make sure you know what your rights are before you start talking to the insurance company, and they start asking you questions or they try to settle your case early and cheap.
Well, what's interesting to me is, a lot of people have fear of attorneys. It makes them very uncomfortable. They get nervous about it. What should I do? I've known Michael for years and years now, and I would highly recommend you. So that should be good enough for everybody, because I don't endorse people who are dirtbags.
Well, I appreciate that. But I guess the key is people think I'll charge them if I talk to them.
Right.
So a lot of people call me up. It's like, how much is this going to cost if you call me back? Like, you want me to call you back? How much will that cost? I don't charge people. The only way I get paid is if we recover, if we get money from the other side. And there's a lot of people I talk to that I never get paid for that are just part of giving them advice to make sure they know what they can do and what their rights are.
And your record's terrific as well, we should point out.
Well, it works. It's been good.
It's been good, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been good.
And how do they contact you?
And either through our website, which is minnesotapersonalinjury.com, or at 800-770-7008.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant. What is this song?
Blind. No Rain.
The life
by,
has really changed.
Yeah, Blind Melon.
Blind Melon. Blind Melon Chitlin?
Yeah.
Who was Blind Melon Chitlin again? Is that on The Simpsons?
I don't know.
Oh, no. That was Cheech and Chong. Cheech and Chong.
Perfect.
It was Cheech and Chong. Blind Melon Chitlin. It's like, really? My favorite. We're talking to Stephen Brown about Nothing But Hemp. We're talking about CBD. We're talking some THC. We're talking all these things, and then we'll talk about what's available at your stores, because what you handle. But one of my favorite Cheech and Chongs of all time. They came along perfect time for me. I was a teenager when they first hit. I will never forget how floored I was by their humor. I remember one time Cheech Marin is driving a car, and Chong's in the passenger seat, and Cheech says to him, "You think I'm going too fast, man?" He goes, "I think we're parked." I think we're parked.
Love that movie.
Oh my God, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great stuff, really great stuff. So Stephen Brown is in studio, Nothing But Hemp. Tell us about the business first of all.
Yeah, so I own a series of retail shops called Nothing But Hemp here in the Twin Cities. So we have 4 locations. We have one in Forest Lake, Grand Avenue, another one in Uptown, in Maplewood Mall. We have a couple in Florida, and another one in Superior,
Where are they in
Wisconsin.
Florida?
In Tampa, Florida.
On Tampa, okay.
Yep.
So,
Tampa St. Pete.
are you forced to work there in the winter?
I actually want to be forced there to work there, so I just have to talk to my fiance about that one.
Oh, your
Brilliant.
fiance, yeah.
Brilliant
That's the
move.
problem.
Yeah.
That is the problem. So I was telling Stephen off the air very quickly about something that happened to me. When I first went, I qualified about, a year ago now here in Minnesota for THC because I couldn't sleep. I'm 19 years old. I just stopped sleeping, and I never slept well again until a year ago. So it was, like 47 years I didn't sleep. And now I sleep really well. Catherine even pointed out, said, we were down in Red Wing over the weekend, and Alex and her husband Dan, and they brought their 2 kids down. Almost one, he'll be 1 on Thursday, and then the daughter's 3. And the 1-year-old decided that he was going to belt it out for about 4 hours that first night.
Yeah, he was not happy about
Was
that.
that
Can we
about
get
4
babies
hours?
CBD?
No, it was on and off.
Oh, it was on and on.
It was on and
Do you
off.
have a
You have
baby
CBD
product
to-
for
CBD
babies?
You
to
can actually
babies.
put CBD on, like lotion and oil on babies.
Yep, you could put definitely on their skin.
Yeah, on their
But
skin.
I would recommend consulting with a doctor if you're going to give a baby CBD.
Yeah,
Could he just smoke
yeah.
a joint and go to sleep? Could he do anything?
So I qualified in Minnesota about a year ago. I was very, very happy about it. Qualifying in Florida was a huge pain in the ass. But I finally got through it. What did it take me, about 8 months?
It was ridiculous.
It took a long, long time.
Well, they have a lot of drug problems down in Florida,
that's
so
the
they're a
big
little
problem.
bit more
They really
touchy
do.
about
Because
things.
it was cocaine heaven down
Not that
there.
we don't have our problems here, but that's
Right, but
that's
not like
really bad.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida's really bad.
I just learned, because there are a series of restaurants down in southern Florida called the Square Grouper. And I said, what's a Square Grouper? He goes, you don't know what a Square Grouper is? I said, no, what is it? He goes, it's a bale of cocaine that washes up on the shore.
Oh my God.
A Square Grouper. It's like, oh, okay.
Look, Mom, I
well.
just found $1 million on the beach.
I found $1 million and it's a Square Grouper. So in any case, I qualify down there and I go to the dispensary. I pick up my stuff, and for some reason, not a big deal, but one of the bottles they gave me was different than the others. They all looked the same, but I grabbed it, took it out of the little container, and I open it up, and I pop one in because I want to go to bed in about an hour or so. About an hour out works for me. Then I sleep really well, and I'm sitting watching what's the name of the Ricky Gervais show? The new one. You were watching.
Oh, good Lord.
Is it called The Good Life or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm watching this with Catherine, and I all of a sudden look up, and Ricky Gervais looks just like a dragon. I'm like,
And I'm like, there's something going on with him over there.
are
Are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm
And
like,
like I said, I started on 10 milligrams, and like you, about 20 milligrams now is just perfect for me.
Yep.
And I'm a pretty big guy. I mean, so it's not like a size of a person; it's your brain, right? So I figured he looks like a dragon. I probably better go in the other room. I couldn't move my legs. My legs just wouldn't respond to me wanting to move. So finally, I was able to saunter into the bedroom and go to sleep, but I slept 12 hours. And I got up the next morning and went, what was that all about? I looked, they had mistakenly given me 50 milligram capsules. Oh. It just floored me. I mean, it was,
they're lucky you didn't get behind the wheel.
I could have never driven a car.
Yeah.
There's no way I could have
That's
driven
a
a car.
Definitely not.
mistake they should not be making.
But I brought
my
that up.
opinion.
I brought it back. It was no big deal. I said I was just, I wasn't going to die or anything. So, well, it is true. THC cannot kill you, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it can't kill you.
You can't OD on it?
You cannot
No.
OD on THC. At least there's never been any cases as of yet.
No. So I asked him. I said, "Man, 50 milligrams. That's a lot." They go, "Not even close to some people." I said, "What do you mean?" The doctor tells me there are people that do 500 milligrams of THC a day.
I
10
suppose
times
I
what
suppose
I
if you've
took.
been like smoking weed since you were
I guess.
15 every day.
Does it
like,
have that drug creep thing where you have to keep taking more and more?
I personally, I started when I was 13 years old. I'm 36 now. I took some time off during the Marine Corps, and just because you can't smoke weed in the Marine Corps.
No, you cannot.
But when I got out, I definitely dipped back into doing it again. But I can't imagine taking 500 milligrams. I don't know how that is possible, but someone can do it, I guess.
I guess it's people basically who have some problem with disabilities. I guess it really, really helps people with disabilities, and for some people, not
Maybe
everybody.
For pain management,
Yeah,
maybe?
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.
And I know RSO oil, when people have cancer, they take RSO oil, which is really strong, but a lot of people actually get sick off of it because it's so strong.
So
They
it's
might
so
feel a little
strong.
bit dizzy off of it.
So yeah, I mean, it's been a miracle for me. And Catherine, you do CBD.
On and off. I kind of
I tell
remember to
you,
do it,
well,
then I
just
don't.
get on it and knock it off. You heard me.
I bought some CBD oil for Jude to calm him down. Did not work.
Didn't work for him at all.
I actually talked to my vet about. They said that
He needs calming
no
down.
CBD does not generally help with stress in dogs.
Really?
Really?
It helps with arthritis, but not
Yes.
stress.
Pain and inflammation is really
Yet
good.
more misinformation on the internet.
Yeah, that's hard to believe.
Yeah.
That's
It's all
really hard
over.
to believe it's
Yes.
true. So, Nothing But Hemp. How did you first get the idea to do Nothing But Hemp?
So I was working as a consultant in the marijuana industry out in California. So I
Oh, you
lived
were?
here in Minnesota, and then I would fly out to California and live there for a week and then come back. And so I own a marketing company. And so while I was out there, CBD, was just starting to take off, and I thought it was really interesting. And my fiance suffered from migraines. And so someone told me that if you take CBD oil and you have a migraine, it's actually going to work for you.
Catherine.
So while we were in Nevada, I bought a Select Pen, which is a brand out there, and it's a smokable, and I gave it to her, and she's totally against marijuana. She doesn't smoke marijuana. She doesn't like marijuana. She hates the smell.
I can't smoke. I can't even do the vape.
Yeah.
It makes me choke.
Yep.
I can't do it. So I understand her position, yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. A lot of people hate the smell, and yeah.
It does smell like skunk weed.
It does. It does. So she smoked it and actually got rid of her migraine. And
Really?
it happened to be that she owns a house in Nevada, and 2 blocks over there was a CBD store, and I've never seen one before. And I said, "Oh my gosh, why don't I do this in Minnesota?" So I talked to my business partner Javon, and at the time, this was just a concept, and we said, "Let's open up a store. Let's see what it's like." So we opened up our first store at Maplewood Mall, and it was successful. We couldn't believe it. So we did it right before the 2018 Farm Bill. And there was a hemp provision in there stating that you're legalizing all hemp. So we were operating underneath the 2014 provision Farm Bill that was there. And so we moved forward, and
Did you still have to get special licensing or anything? to
we
do it?
did not need any licensing at all, and even right now, there's no licensing unless I'm growing it. We do have a grower's license now, but at the time, there's no licensings that you need to actually open up a retail store. That might change over time, so it's an unregulated business right now. You have the FDA that's saying it's considered a drug. We have, the suppliers that are saying it's not a drug. So,
Right.
we're kind of dealing with that on a daily basis of being in this gray area type of business. And, President Trump did sign, the legalization of all hemp plants as long as it has underneath the 0.3% of THC. It's then considered legal. And so we just make sure in our supply chain that all the products that we get are under that limit. We carry everything from hemp flower, looks like marijuana, smells like marijuana, tastes like marijuana, but gives you a body feeling versus a head high.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
have multiple strains. We have tinctures, bath bombs. We have about 150 different products. We also add different terpenes inside the tinctures to give you different effects, just like what you see in the regular marijuana business.
That's phenomenal. Catherine, you
Where's
and
all
Andy.
this research coming from? I mean, who's doing the research?
Great question. So, cannabis has been something that's been researched for years, just not here in the United States as much. So, if you look at the European research out there in regards of CBD oil, if you ever heard of that story about Charlotte's Web. It's a brand that's out there. This girl, Charlotte, was having about 300 seizures per week and almost died from it. And so dad was in the Army, went on YouTube and found this remedy about CBD oil. And a lot of it came out of, Europe. And so they wanted to try this out. So they flew out to Colorado. They bought a big bag of cannabis that was high CBD and then had their doctor friend extract it. And her seizures went from 300 to 1 per week. And now she has none, and now she has a normal life. So pretty amazing stuff. And they found that over time that, a lot of people use it for anxiety. They use it for stress, depression, sleeping disorders.
Right.
So there's so many different ailments that it works for. I get really upset when I hear that you're going to lose weight from it, or it's going to,
Right.
make you taller. I mean, there's just...
I grew 3 inches.
I'm
Oh, I
5'4",
turned into 5 now.
So,
I was 5'7" before I started.
Really, that explains it. I've been wondering.
I think it's wonderful. Okay, you're looking back at the movie in the 1920s or 30s, Reefer Madness. Was that the 20s or 30s, something like that? Reefer Madness, something like that. Why did it get such a bad name? Because of the alcohol industry?
So actually, if we all remember Henry Ford, who invented one of the best cars in America at the time, and so he developed a car that was made off of hemp. So
That's
everything
right.
from the windows, the tires, the oil that was going into the car, the fuel was getting about 35 miles per gallon. The tire and the oil companies went to him and said, "Hey, we'll give you millions of dollars to not put this in production, so you could put, your other vehicles in production." And he said yes to it, and then they lobbied and called it a black drug. So that's what happened with cannabis and hemp.
What do you know? It's
Yep.
politics as usual.
I know.
Good old politics.
It ain't easy out here.
There you go. Now, so it's always about money, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
Politics and
always
money,
about
yep.
money.
It is.
Yeah.
All the things that are going on now. I saw something that really upset me, and this is a bit off topic, but we do have the entire hour with you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Good. There was a story about the new electric buses that are running through North Minneapolis, and which is great. I mean, whatever. But I grew up in North Minneapolis, and they said we finally righted a wrong that happened all those years ago. And I'm like, what are you talking
How
about?
does an electric bus right wrongs? Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Well,
you know?
Most people reading
can't
that would
even
think
guess.
that North Minneapolis had no bus service. That's what you'd think if you read that, right?
Yeah.
We've always
right.
had bus
Flat out
service.
lie. I mean, there was a Lindell Avenue bus, there's a Emerson Fremont bus, there was a Penn Avenue bus, which is where this runs. The electric bus runs on Penn Avenue. I lived on 26th and Penn, just a couple blocks off, as a matter of fact. I lived on Lowry and Penn, right over on Russell. I lived on 35th and Penn. I own a house there. I was taking buses my entire childhood, my 20s, 30s, whatever. And I'm thinking, what wrong did they write here? It had the same bus service as anywhere else in Minnesota, anywhere else in Minneapolis, St. Paul. So I still don't understand what they're talking about. We've righted this great wrong.
Let's call them.
I don't get it. And it's politicians.
It is.
So, gee, where is the money coming from there? Because a couple of bus drivers called in and said, well, I hate to tell them this, but I retired from driving a North Minneapolis bus on Penn Avenue after 35, 40 years, so I don't know where I was going, but apparently I wasn't on Penn Avenue. I think that's a part. The money involved is a problem, and the politics involved, which is what you were talking about.
Yep.
It's got to stop. These politicians have got to stop running our lives and basically ruining our lives just so they can make money.
Absolutely.
I really wish they wouldn't do that. So the same thing happened. All of these people could have slept for years because of cannabis. They could feel much better because of CBD. The hemp products are coming out really in a big way now. So this was all about Henry Ford making millions of dollars. Well, at least he was a racist.
Right.
So, apparently,
And like the worst part about that is instead of like offering him money to not produce it, they could have been like forward thinking and say, how
Yeah.
can we can adapt this and
Yeah,
right.
change
why don't
our
we
ways
do
to
it?
make this work. And
that's exactly right. But
They
I
don't want to
mean,
give up their cash.
I just really, really wish it would stop because now, and that had to be what, about 1915, something
Yep.
like that? Yeah, I mean, so 104 years later, finally we can maybe talk about cannabis, about CBD, about what they have me on now is I do CBD in the morning, first thing, and then midday I do a CBD THC mix, 1-to-1.
Yep.
And then at night I take cannabis to sleep. So for me, it works out really, really, except for my voice today because of that cotton.
Yeah, are there any that are
whatever.
good for allergies? Oh my God.
Man,
Everybody's
they're
complaining.
killing me.
Yeah, it's killing me too. No, not for allergies.
No. Well, nothing is for. They say this works, that works. It
Yeah,
doesn't
no.
work. I mean, my voice is like 3 octaves higher today.
Zyrtec helps.
What's that?
Zyrtec helps.
Antihistamines.
Antihistamines,
Yeah.
yeah, antihistamines is about all that works. So basically, I kind of wonder. 104 years ago, they decided that they were going to go this route. How many people couldn't sleep, or felt horrible, felt anxiety? Oh my God, I'm way over.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Blah,
We'll be right back
blah,
with
blah,
Stephen Brown
blah.
right after this. It's Tom Barnard with North American Banking Company CEO and my buddy, Michael Bilski. Michael, let's say somebody has a plan to expand their business this year. How can North American Banking Company get that job done?
At North American Banking Company, we'll take time to understand the customer's needs and wants and their plans for the future. Once we have a good understanding of that, we'll try to solve your financing dilemma. We won't take a cookie-cutter approach to any financing situation.
Wonderful. So if I need cash to expand my podcast, you got a plan for me too?
No.
God, thank you. I see where this is going.
Well, we love working with you. We can help any business, including a podcast, that's already very successful.
Who's better than you? That's what I want to know.
You
I still
are.
never liked you, though.
You are.
No, I never. Don't try to make up. I don't. Why not bank with my banker, North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. Tom Barnard here for Whiting Clinic LASIK and Cataract. There's no better time than now to ditch your contacts and pitch your glasses. Whiting Clinic is the place I trusted to do this for me, and it's not just me. There's a reason Whiting Clinic is the #1 LASIK practice in the United States. Dr. Whiting's unsurpassed experience, the most advanced Contura laser technology, and lifetime coverage are all backed by Whiting Clinic's best price guarantee. Being the experts they are, they wanted to make sure you have the very best for your eyes, just like I did. Call now for Whiting Clinic's $500 off LASIK savings. If you're like me, not a big fan of glasses and contact lenses, then it's time you found out if you're a candidate for LASIK. And Whiting Clinic is definitely the place to go. Call 855-554-2020 today or visit whitingclinic.com to set up your free LASIK consultation. Remember to tell them that I sent you and save $500 on your LASIK.
Offer good for a limited time. Call Whiting Clinic for details. Good for both eyes only. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
There you go.
A little Cheech and Chong for you.
Earache my eye. I think it was, I've got an earache, man.
What are you doing?
It's wonderful. No, I was just talking a little bit about, so basically to get rid of migraine, about, a certain dosage.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's just absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to talk to Catherine about that as well. I honestly, I really wish we'd get to the point where everybody, because your mother would probably benefit greatly from CBD. She wouldn't get high from it, but,
Well, and what people have to understand is that isn't smoking pot.
No, it's
Taking
not.
No, it's
CBD
not. Not
oil
one
is
bit.
not smoking pot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Catherine wouldn't have to drink like a fish anymore? She doesn't need
It's
it.
so funny.
About a half a glass of wine a week. Other than that, though, no. But but you do get headaches sometimes, and I wish
Yes.
you could get rid of them because it's not necessary to put up with it.
I know. I've heard great things. I haven't tried it for headaches because I have this pill that I take and it just goes away.
Yep.
So I'm like, and I don't have constant headaches. Like Andy, you get them like all the time.
Well, I used to.
But
What
you're
are you-
on,
what
but
are you
you're on a
doing now?
medication,
Yeah.
right?
Do you get a lot of like cluster headaches? Is that kind of the
They're just pretty standard migraines.
okay?
But you get them often.
I do have to tell you this, Stephen.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll enjoy this. I get emails once in a while now or text messages on the talk and text line at KQ. But some people write in, I am so grateful that you're on THC and CBD because you used to be such an asshole. But now you sleep, and so now I can listen to you. I mean, seriously, don't you think, Catherine, it's changed quite a bit how I act?
Not-
Never mind. Why would I ask her for support?
I notice when you take it, you certainly get more mellow for a while. But I mean, like you're not. It's not like you're high all day long, or like,
not at all.
and
Yeah.
then you're not like that.
He kids.
No. As a matter of fact, you could probably do a little more during the day.
Well, I'm going to talk to Stephen about that
A
to
little
see
more.
the CBD, and then, like I said, the midday I do the THC.
Especially when the
1-to-1 with
attorney's bills
CBD.
come in the mail, then you could take
Oh,
a
God.
bunch. Then you could
Oh,
take a
God.
bunch.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm used to that.
oh, I bet. And you get them, and you get them. Well, they come emails now,
Yeah.
and you're just like, how is it possible to spend that much money talking to one person? It shouldn't be that. You must get bills that are. Gigantic.
It is pretty crazy. We have 2 attorneys that we work with. We also have a lobbyist that we work
Oh,
with.
you do?
right.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm
They're
the
not
founder
cheap.
of the Minnesota Hemp Association as well, and so we had a lobbyist for this last session in regards of a labeling bill. And so the Department of the Board of Pharmacy put in a labeling bill that basically was talking about how CBD needs to have accurate labels, but there's no guidelines or rules behind that. So typically in food, you're able to have some type of variance. And so the variance that we see in our products typically is that they're over the amount of CBD oil. So let's say the bottle says 500 milligrams. They might be 608 milligrams per bottle versus 500. So I understand the reason for the labeling bill, but they really do need to work on what are those rules? What does that mean for us as retailers or manufacturers? And even when it comes down to farmers too. So it's a really interesting world right now to kind of navigate through the Capitol and also look at the federal laws as well that are coming out in regards of CBD, because you have a lot of different opinions. You know, our pharmacy board believes what we're doing is completely illegal, where based upon the law, it is not illegal, and our stance. And same thing with our attorneys too. We believe that what we're doing is completely legal. There wouldn't be a reason why CVS, Walgreens, and some of these big companies would come on board if we were doing something illegal.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me.
Where do they grow hemp mostly?
Oh, so a lot of our suppliers are from Oregon. It's because of the clean soil. They don't do a lot of pesticides, but we do have some farmers that we're going to be working with here in Minnesota and Wisconsin for this year. So we're really excited about that. I prefer to work with indoor grows versus outdoors in Minnesota because we do put a lot of pesticides in our cornfields. And what happens with hemp is it actually sucks up all the toxins. So it actually cleans the soil, which is great, but you don't want that in your body.
Yeah, but you could use that to maybe speed up like an organic farm or something, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
It is.
So, Stephen, we're talking.
Sell the cheap. You can sell that really cheap. Toxic hemp.
And I have
why does my kid have 3 eyes now?
I've had people ask me, so do you just get high before you go to bed? I said, no, I don't get high at all. I get tired, and then I go to bed and I sleep very, very well. So there's some anxiety levels. I mean, it's got to be per the average person how much they should take. There are experts that would be able to help them with that.
Absolutely, but here's the interesting is that our own endocannabinoid system in our body is so different. So it's really difficult to actually dose people with the right amount of cannabinoids that they're taking in their body.
Really?
So, for example, I'm 150 pounds, 5'4", and I'm a lightweight with anything. It just doesn't make a difference. But, my fiance's, about the same size or smaller than me. And, she has a higher tolerance. So she could take, 50 milligrams of CBD oil to actually feel something. So it's totally different.
So how would you go through the process of finding out where you should be?
So what typically people start off with is they just start off with like a really small dose and to see how they feel from there, and then over time they'll kind of increase from there. And that's what a lot of doctors recommend is starting off with a small dose and then moving all the way up. Unfortunately, even though we have a certification in the endocannabinoid system in CBD oil, just like doctors and nurses do, we can't actually give real concrete dosing information.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. But I mean, we're talking about the emotional pain, whether it's anxiety, whatever, physical pain, it helps.
Yep.
It helps with sleep. I mean, it helps with all these things. Do the pharmaceutical companies have a lot to do with keeping things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're having some difficulty with them. I mean,
Really?
Going back to
money?
Charlotte's Web 10 years ago when they came out with their own product,
Right.
I think the pharmaceutical company said, "Oh my gosh, this stuff works. We might need to do something about this." And so they developed a drug.
Yeah.
And so now that they developed a drug, they're claiming that no one else can sell this CBD oil, but it was a supplement first. And so based on the law, once something's a supplement, you can't turn it into a drug, vice versa. So that's the battle that we're seeing right now. But this is our first time in history, thank God to the internet, that we've seen a movement move this fast where people are saying, hey, I want something natural in my body. I don't want something that's synthetic.
Right.
So it's a really cool movement. I think it's going to move into even other natural supplements that we put in our body, like vitamin C, echinacea, all these other great things you put in your body versus doing pharmaceuticals. And I'm glad we're starting to see this push in the hemp movement's allowing this to happen.
What I really like is this: the homeless problem in America and around the world actually has gotten much, much worse, and a lot of that has to do with pharmaceuticals, because people get hooked on pharmaceuticals and then they'll turn to pretty much anything they can find after that. How much longer are we going to put up with that? I mean, it's ridiculous.
It is.
People are dying because of this.
They are, and they're doing to vets. I'm a veteran, and so they, the VA and a lot of these guys, they're going to push pills down our throat, to feel better. Does it really make you feel better? Or does it actually make you want to take more pills because you're trying to get rid of all the bad side effects that this one pill does to your body? So, I do think there's going to be a difference. The neat thing about CBD oil is there's some studies that are now showing that people who have opioid addictions, CBD oil can help stop those cravings. So there's still a little bit more research we need to kind of look, to kind of look into that. But they are seeing a lot of positive results off of that.
Are there any side effects for people that have to take like big doses of CBD oil?
There are side effects with CBD oil and certain drugs, statin drugs, but there's probably a laundry list about 100 different drugs that can interact with either THC and CBD oil. So again, consulting with your doctor, but they're not your most common drugs that people are taking every single day.
No, no, not at all.
And then, like you say, some of the side effects, when, the NFL, they have the big opioid problems and stuff like that. Is it something where if they took it, would they test positive for fail a drug test in the NFL or other sports or jobs that test for it?
Yep, I know in the NFL, baseball players cannot take any type of cannabinoid at all, any type of CBD or THC products. Yep, it's completely banned as of right now. I don't know why.
Probably because the drug tests aren't specific enough to know how much they did. It's either you fail or you pass, so they don't know. If you're taking
some of the owners own pharmaceuticals.
Or that
that's probably right.
You never know.
And there's a stigma too. There's a stigma that this is marijuana. One of the first questions that people ask when they come in our stores, will this get me high? And so some people are pretty sad that it's not going to get them high, and other people are pretty happy.
Well, it's funny, when I first started doing THC to sleep, I talked about it on the air, and I said I go over to Bloomington and I did not know there's one dispensary in Bloomington. So the people just all showed up. Hey, I want to get some pot. It's like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
So
First, you have to pay the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a process.
Oh, you got to pay for it. Yeah, it is a process. Well, you've been
I still
on.
don't
You've been on
understand
how
that.
long now?
Since October.
And how many milligrams do you do?
Well, I take depending on how I've been, because with my tincture, I adjust that. So I usually take, I can't remember, 2 mils, I think, a day. And then I have my vape pen when I need it.
So how many milligrams is that?
I don't know. I just take.
You just hit the pipe.
I just take 2 puffs off if I'm
Chiefing.
in bad pain or I can't sleep, or because a lot of times with my pain, it prevents me from sleeping well as well.
Is that from your Crohn's is the pain?
The Crohn's and the rheumatoid arthritis. So, but I honestly, since I started taking CBD, I am not on any pharmaceutical medications to treat.
That's amazing.
And I
love
haven't
that.
had, every once in a while I'll have a day where I'm having a bad day, but it's not
That's only
chronic.
when you're here, though.
It's not chronic. I mean, because I came one day, I woke up and I had this severe pain, and I had my joints were swelling up and red. I thought, I'm like, gosh, do I have gout? I didn't know what was going on. My ankles swelled up. My foot. When I'd walk, it felt like I was walking on broken feet. It felt like every bone in my body in my foot was broken, and I was walking on rocks, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I ended up going on a gluten-free diet. I got on the CBD THC. It's a small portion of THC. It's the indigo tincture, and then I have a vape pen for help with pain management and stuff and sleeping throughout the night. So, and I am not on any other type of medication other than that.
Oh, it sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so good to
It
hear.
has helped me
The only
tremendously.
problem is when you travel, you can't bring it with you.
I know.
That's so
Or-
true.
Yeah,
That sucks.
that is the pain, because it's if you have a prescription, it's weird because I could travel with oxycodone.
Right.
I can
Yeah.
travel with Vicodin.
Yeah, buckets full of that.
Narcotics that you have to sign for
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
at the pharmacy, yet I can't carry a medication that is natural, that I'm prescribed. I have, I'm licensed to the state of Minnesota, but because it's marijuana, it's not federally legal, so they consider flying on a plane is federal airspace.
Yep.
Right.
So that's
Yeah,
why
that's
you
what
can,
it is,
even though
yeah.
you're flying to a
Yep.
state that it may be legal in, that airspace, that's the tricky part right there. So
It is, yeah. Oh, by the way, talk and text line 612-295-1526. We're getting some questions. Does CBD help with high blood pressure?
I have not seen any studies showing
Okay.
that.
Yeah, it's just a very quick question from Louisville, Kentucky.
well, you'd think it would because it de-stresses you, and one of the number
Yeah, you
one
would
contributors of high blood pressure is stress and anxiety and stuff like that. So it probably would help on that aspect. Now, if it's because you have high blood pressure due to a diet,
Yep.
then you
Right.
have to change your diet. So
Exactly.
Well,
that's not
and you
gonna
can't, and a lot of doctors aren't going to tell you any of this stuff. But you can go to a naturopath most likely and
Exactly.
get some
Yeah.
good
yeah, because
advice.
I've asked questions, because I've been getting also friends and family and stuff on CBD, and I'm like, is it okay for pregnant women to take just the CBD, nothing with THC in it? And there's so many mixed things with that as well. Can you travel with just CBD with no THC? Can you bring that on a plane?
That's a difficult one. So the answer is yes and no.
Great.
Yes, if you don't get caught.
It
Exactly.
depends on your TSA
It
agent.
really does. I mean, there has been some people who have been stopped with their CBD oil, and they're not arrested; it's just confiscated. So,
Okay.
and in Texas recently, there was somebody who was arrested because they had a full spectrum CBD oil, which a full spectrum is illegal there, which has up to that 0.3% of THC in it.
Oh, okay.
3%.
Okay.
0.3.
0.3%.
Point three.
You would have to drink probably about like 29, 30 bottles for maybe to feel high. Maybe. Yeah.
30 bottles of it.
With liquor up on the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look at this, Catherine. I'm right on time in
Look
this
at
segment.
you.
We'll be back in a couple minutes more with Stephen, CBD, TH, all the stuff. We'll be right back.
All the acronyms.
What are the things you want to avoid when it comes time to sell your home? Hey, it's Tom with my realtor, Chris Lindahl. If you're like most people, it's things like open houses, staging, decluttering, repairs, maintenance, and all the people coming through your house.
Hey, Tom, the Guaranteed Offer program from Chris Lindahl Real Estate was created for people like you so that you can avoid the things that you don't like doing when it comes time to sell your home. We have been presenting offers for homes in most price ranges. Homeowners are loving our Guaranteed Offer program, especially how much money they are making on their home sale without the inconveniences.
So this program is for all price ranges and conditions, including perfectly maintained homes?
Most homes do qualify. To see if your home qualifies, go to chrislindahl.com and click Get Offer right now. Will you be the next homeowner to accept an offer from our Guaranteed Offer program? Find out now. If you qualify, you will get an offer in 48 hours or less, and the best part is you get to pick a closing date that is convenient for you and close in as little as 3 weeks.
Go to chrislindahl.com right now to see if you qualify or call 763-401-SOLD. That is 763-401-SOLD. I'm talking to Neil Sheehy, ex-NHL defenseman. Neil, you've had a great success following the Nutrimost wellness plan. How much weight did you lose, and what makes Nutrimost different from all those other programs out there?
Tom, I dropped over 63 pounds in 44 days, but more importantly, I know how to keep it off. In addition to my success, I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters who had great success on the Nutrimost wellness program. And collectively, we all lost a total of 222 pounds on the program. My brother and I were so impressed that we decided to open up a clinic in Plymouth.
Find out how and why Nutrimost is unlike any other weight loss plan by attending the Nutrimost free dinner at 6:30 p.m. on Monday, June 24th at Jake's in Plymouth. Nutrimost guarantees that you lose 20 pounds or more. Register for the Nutrimost dinner or schedule your immediate consultation. Call 763-333-7337. That is 763-333-7337. Oh, hit me with your best shot. Really?
Get it?
Really?
It's
That's
a
what we're
drug
doing.
reference.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Brown in studio, Nothing But Hemp. Again, the locations are...
Yeah, so our locations are in Forest Lake. We have another one in Uptown, Grand Avenue, and Maplewood. And actually, we're building out one right now in Cloquet, Minnesota, too.
Okay, yeah. Up by Duluth.
Yep.
There you have it. It's you were just talking about something. What were you just talking about? I want to ask you. Oh, I do want to ask you about your service. You were in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Yes.
How long were you in the Corps?
I did 4 years.
My brother saying, actually, he got extended, though. He's in Vietnam back in the day. And while he was there, he was supposed to do 365 days. There's a great book. Have you ever read the book 365 Days?
I have not.
Great. It's about a tour of duty in Vietnam.
Okay.
In the United States Marine Corps. It's really, really a fascinating deal. But my brother was in Vietnam, and he got extended. He did his 365 days. He got extended another 6 months.
Thank you.
And he said that what really pissed him off is he had his short timer's hat on, and he had to take it off for 6 months.
Oh, my goodness.
He was ready to go. But so you're in for 4 years.
Yep.
Did you go on tours?
I was lucky not to.
Good.
So I really lucked out. So.
That is. So where were you stationed?
Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Oh, there you
Yep.
go.
So
Carolina.
I was a 0352, a tow gunner. So we blew up tanks. That was my job.
That was your job.
So when you get out of the Marine Corps and they ask you, what did you do for a living? And I was like, I blew up tanks.
Hey, you know those things that
You
are
can't really-
indestructible?
Yeah.
I love that. It's really good on a job application, I would imagine. Well, I blew up tanks for a job for a long time. It was a war job.
And what's your temperament like?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, where'd you grow up?
A little town called Longmeadow, Massachusetts.
Well, where is that?
It is next to Springfield, Mass.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yep.
So you went from there into, how'd you end up here?
So I ended up here. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, I ended up working for General Nutrition Center, so GNC.
GNC,
And I left GNC and worked in the wireless industry. So right before smartphones started coming out, that really snazzy Razor phone. So I started then.
Yeah.
And so I was selling cell phones, and a guy who was going to college named Eric Benedict, we became really good friends, and he was from Minnesota. And he moved back to Minnesota and called me up and said, hey, do you want to start a business, a consulting company where we can train other retailers? And I said, yeah, let's do it. So I moved up to Minnesota, and I've been here now almost past 10 years. So, so I've gone through these horrible winters and these beautiful summers.
These horrible winters. Yeah, it was a long one this year, man. Oof.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Eric Benedict sounds familiar. Would I know him from somewhere?
Possibly. So he works with Studio 120 here in town.
Oh, okay.
And so I believe he worked with like the Taste of NFL. He's done some work there. His
that's
father
what I
was a mayor and a senator in Minnesota.
Really?
His dad was the youngest mayor of Bloomington, I think at age 23.
Woo! Represent.
So, and Bob Benedict is the father's name.
He was 20 and became mayor?
Exactly. And then
did
went
that
into
happen?
Senate at 26. Very, very smart guy.
That's amazing. 20 years old.
And he runs
hell are
a
you
negotiation
doing?
training company.
Yeah. What the hell are
really
you doing with
screwed
your
up.
time?
Falling apart
Right.
for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
27.
God, you and
Getting up there.
you and Candace are the same age. I cannot believe. I think she might be 28 now, and she still looks like she's about 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good God! But yeah, I knew I'd heard that name before. So it's Bob Benedict and Eric Benedict.
Yes. Yep.
That's very cool. So you came up.
Came up, started a business called Connecting Innovations, and we were able to train Best Buy Mobile, General Nutrition Centers, and then we had that horrible crash that happened, and training budgets were cut. My business failed, and I went back into corporate.
Oh, you did.
I did.
Here,
Yep. I did. Yep.
doing
And I worked
corporate
for
here.
a company called Blue Star Productions. We had this traveling animatronic dinosaur show that would go across the country.
That's cool.
And I was their media buyer, and so I ended up media buying for some time, then moved up to being their director of marketing, and then the company sold to Cirque du Soleil, and I left and then started my own marketing company, and that's how I got into cannabis.
Well, there you go. I mean,
Did you ever get to be a dinosaur?
No.
I think you were animatronic in the end.
Well, you could be in there.
Yeah.
That's not what animatronic.
Oh, that one's kind of barked at
Partly.
you. Hear that? Our daughter. Yeah, it's no.
I'm
Not a
thinking of
transformer.
Transformers.
Yes, it's not a transformer.
Yeah, you're fine.
That'd be
Don't worry
cooler.
about it. I like the fact that, since I've been talking a lot about, CBD and THC on the air and all that stuff, I cannot tell you the hundreds and hundreds of calls we receive. People are looking for help, whether it's with anxiety or a physical ailment or just they need to sleep, they need to calm down. And I tell them absolutely go. And then they always ask me, do you get high every night? And I go, no, I never get high. Well, that one time in the 50 milligram. That's the only time I could think of.
Well, the problem,
The
I
one
mean,
time.
with pharmaceuticals is that sometimes the side effects are so much worse than what you're even trying to cure.
Yeah, that is true. So I love the work you're doing and
Thank you.
everybody involved in it because it's going to help people. It's nowhere near as dangerous as pharmaceuticals, not even close. We had a young man on this morning about the tent city that happened back in 2018. The Wall, it's called. I think it's at the St. Anthony, Maine. It's a documentary. He could not have been a more gentle, nicer man. The guy's the nicest guy in the world. And he just talked about the fact that drugs have really, really impacted America in a big, well, the world in a big way. So this would be a big help instead of going, let's, go into your, I did love it here, do this. Like, nah, I don't think so. I don't want to just do this. This is a much, much smarter way, and it's much better for you than doing pharmaceuticals. I really don't know when they did this, but I don't think pharmaceutical companies should be able to pay doctors to sell their product.
Yeah, commissions.
Yeah.
That should not be allowed because it's just too much money. Once again, money is, oh God, people and their money.
Yeah.
It's just really sad.
They forget we're human.
Yeah, they kind of do, don't they? Which is really too bad. Other areas. So we've talked sleep, we've talked physical pain, we've talked emotional pain, anxiety. I mean, there's nothing this stuff can't do, as far as I know.
Make it taller.
That's one thing.
Well, if you do get high, you might think you're taller, though. You could just
I'm
pack
so
in
tall.
about, like I said, 50 milligrams, you'll start thinking you're taller.
Exactly.
I could not believe that happened to me. I really, honestly, God, you're watching television, all of a sudden, Ricky Gervais turns into why a dragon? That's what I've never figured out. Why did I see him as a dragon?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could hallucinate on that.
Well, and I don't know if it was projection or hallucination. I don't know what it was. It was really weird.
Something turns into a dragon. That's a
That's
hallucination.
hallucinating.
That's a pretty strong
Smart.
indicator.
My mind
really
says it's a hallucination.
Yeah, I don't know. But then I couldn't move my legs. That was the part that did scare me. It was like, I can't move my legs. But your brain just tells you. I mean, obviously my muscles weren't affected. It was my brain telling me that I could see him as a dragon, that I couldn't move my legs. It was my brain doing it.
Yep.
Thank you all for all your support, honey. That's really,
You
really
have
great.
problems.
I'd
Really,
be
really
like,
great.
call the ambulance right now. I'm seeing dragons.
Yeah, it's really
That'd be a
funny, though, with
disaster.
Catherine. I stopped drinking 7 years ago. I don't drink at all alcohol anymore. But she was the one that pushed me to get into THC. So, Catherine went through some days when I used to drink alcohol that weren't all that great. I mean, witnessing me threatening to kill people, things like that. But, stuff that in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, exactly.
That whole deal. But no, I mean, Catherine, I should ask you about that. Why did you do a lot of reading about it? Because you're the one who came to me and said you should go on THC.
Well, yeah, because I mean, your whole family has just got this anxiety problem.
They have really bad
panic
anxiety.
attacks, anxiety, and you could just observe somebody that's anxious like that all the time. Life is not fun,
No, not for them at all.
and it's certainly not fun for the people around you either. Sorry.
Well, thanks,
I'm sorry.
honey.
Sorry.
Yeah. She goes like this, and it's not fun for people around you.
It isn't. And to be on that heightened state of anxiety all the time,
All
and
the
just
time.
always, it's exhausting.
And
is.
CBD really
yeah.
does help with that, at least for me. I mean, I use it for anxiety. I was never a huge fan of public speaking in large audiences, and CBD oil really does make a difference for me.
It's terrific.
So it really is awesome. I did make a mistake once where I took just about 200 milligrams of CBD oil before I had to
Holy
speak,
Hannah.
and I was just a little too relaxed. But that was my side
I was
effect.
a little too
man.
Right? Yeah, just sitting on stage, casually, just
No, as far as CBD is concerned, it comes in capsules, comes in oils.
Yep, bath bombs, smokables. You can smoke it at its pure form, which is it's basically hemp flower, so it looks just like marijuana. That's what I prefer. I love the smell and the taste and the different notes that you're going to get from it, just like if you're going to smoke regular marijuana. So it's almost like wine. So I mean, when you go into a dispensary out west, especially a recreational one, you have all of their marijuana is kind of out in the open, and you can smell it, and it really does have a different taste and flavor to it. And so, and that's how CBD oil is really going into our stores, where you have all these different flavors and notes and different effects.
I'm just really happy because for many, many years, if you wanted to smoke marijuana, you had to go and buy it illegally. And of course, it was right next to all these other drugs. I'm not making a step. I just have to be waved by some black guy.
There we go.
Oh, yes, that's what I was thinking. Honest to God.
He's like,
just trying to set us back some
horrible people out there. God. But no, I mean, you literally, to buy a lid back in the day, but when I was 19 or in my 20s or whatever, you'd have to hang around with some pretty shady characters. And it's not good for you to be doing stuff like that.
Yep.
And then, other people, I did not, thank God, but other people went from that, and it was like, well, when I'm relaxed, I do this, but then when I get up, I take, a couple of White Crosses, so they're in the pharmaceuticals now. Now you don't have to worry about that. You either, if you're going to do cannabis in Minnesota, you go to the dispensary, CBD. Why CBD was not always legal, I will never understand. Because, like you said,
Yeah, all comes down to money.
it all came down to money, and they got to stop doing that to people. My God,
I do.
I mean, it's so bad, to tell you the truth. And I talked to
the whole supplement industry's had that problem.
Oh, majorly. I mean, I've talked to some people from really big health insurance agencies, and they would love to insure people to take, natural supplements, but it's just not allowed.
It's not
sad.
allowed.
Well,
It's
I
just not
mean,
allowed.
it's like when Mom was pregnant, they told her to not drink ginger tea. They were like, we don't know.
I had severe, more all-day long sickness. I was
Yep.
really, really sick. And they're like, no ginger tea. I'm like, it's the only thing that helps.
like
well, we just don't know.
Yeah,
Oh my
ginger
goodness.
Just flip it,
tea.
ginger
Like,
tea.
So safe.
And of course, I didn't take it
Couldn't
and
have
laid
been-
around feeling like crap
Yep.
for
couldn't
months.
have been a more safe thing. But
Yeah.
they're like, there's no studies. It's like,
yeah.
what? Ginger and water?
They were literally like, just go home and throw up 100 times.
Yeah.
And feel terrible.
Yeah.
Because that's healthy for you.
But we'll
too,
hook you
while
up to
you're
an
pregnant.
IV of anti-nausea medication.
Yeah. Well, they didn't even offer that to me.
Well, but
Full
I'm just saying.
disclosure here, my mother Toots, loved her dearly, miss her dearly, miss her really bad. But when she first heard of it, she literally thought hash was like corned beef hash. So
God
people
bless her.
smoke that? How do they smoke that? Nah, Mom.
In a smoker.
Just put the corned beef and the little potato bits you can put right in there. But no, I just love the fact that you're doing what you do. It helps, but it's got to feel really good to help that many people.
It does.
I bet.
And we have a really close relationship with our clients that come in. I mean, we have women that have come in who've suffered from, rape, and they're crying and telling their story. We had another lady, her son was murdered in Richfield, I think 2 summers ago. And
It's not the kid at the parade, is it?
was.
Yeah, I know her.
Yep.
Oh my
So
God,
she-
that was horrible.
She came in and she takes our CBD oil, and so it's pretty amazing to see these different stories out there, and you get really close to the people that come into the shop, because it is an intimate conversation typically. There's a
Sure.
reason why they
Yeah.
can't sleep, or they have anxiety, or they have pain. And sometimes, they're very vulnerable when they come in and discuss that with you.
They never found those guys that killed him either, did they?
No,
They
sad.
pulled up in a van and opened the side door and just killed him and then drove away.
Yeah, I've been in touch with his
It
dad.
just doesn't
Yeah,
seem
right.
possible
And-
that a camera didn't catch that somewhere.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So what do you talk? How often do you talk to his dad?
Every once in a while, he'll pop in and he'll just say there's been no progress on the case, and
That's amazing.
they just can't figure it out.
Gang related. They knew what they were doing.
I'm
these
sure it
guys.
was like an
Sad.
initiation thing. Yeah.
That's sick as
Yeah,
hell.
probably
Randomly
initiation gang.
Just randomly
initiation.
shoot somebody
Sick.
so you can be in our gang.
So that's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. We're just talking about. Well, and let me close by saying this: whether it's television or radio or newspapers, those outfits make a ton of money by keeping everybody anxious. Oh, you got to tell these stories that really impact people, and whether it makes them feel sad or anxious or whatever. They do that on purpose.
Yep.
So you're going to have to fight that, whether it's I don't do a whole. Basically on the radio, I just go, yeah, I want you to blow it out your ass. I don't really get too involved in that. Stephen Brown, you got to come. I'd love to have you come back and talk more about
Absolutely.
because this is a great thing.
Bring samples. No, just kidding.
Oh, I will actually next time. We'll have fun. We'll have fun in here, guys.
There's nothing wrong with that. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
We'll stay in touch.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We'll talk to you tomorrow with the family.